eye contact is a lost art, and not even just in person on Zoom. And so we get used to not having eye contact.
Thinking about all of my kids and the way that the job market is going to be, you're still going to have to interview for jobs. And the people that are going to get hired are the people that have the best people skills.
AI should be used, but it's the people skills is what will be the most in demand and will either keep you employed or keep your business afloat going forward.
On episode 478 of the podcast, we talk about how reading facial features helps you connect better with clients and close more deals. Why soft skills matter more than ever as AI takes over technical work, and simple ways to make people feel seen and heard in every conversation so that you can grow your business. Here we go. What's up, my friend? Hey, welcome. Welcome. I need to calm down. When I start this show, I'm like way up here. I'm excited you're here. My name is Ryan Coral, and I'm host of the Grow Your Video Business Show. And this show is all about helping you build something that can thrive, not just survive, something that can create freedom in your life, create impact in the world, and do all of the good things. So I am thrilled that you're here. If you're brand new, welcome to the ride. Today's conversation, it's weird. It is a weird conversation. I've been really excited. I'm trying to figure out the framing of saying this because I was going to say I was really turned on by something, but then I was like, that might come across not how I'm wanting it to come across. So someone turned me on to, that's the way to say it without it being weird, but too late. I've already made it, weird. Oz Perlman. What is he called? I can't remember. He's not a magician. He doesn't call himself that. Mentalist. Wild, fascinating. I'm just like, it's weird, but it's really fun to watch him. Anyway, that's sort of what my guest Brian, we kind of, as we're talking, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like that. So you're going to learn some fascinating things. If you can watch this episode, that's probably going to be best because he shows some pretty neat examples of things that he's talking about how to read facial features. And it's not like in a weird way of taking advantage of somebody. It's really like, when we hear somebody speak or when we're with somebody, there are typically just a couple of things that we do to make judgments and assumptions and stuff. And he's like giving more context and more helpful context. Not to be able to take advantage of somebody, but to really understand what makes them tick, what gets them to lean in. How can we be better speakers, presenters, to those people whose attention that we have. So this is a cool one. If you are here and this is your first episode and your first time hearing this, again, welcome. I want you to stay connected to this work. Grow Your Video Business, Studio Sherpas. This is like my side hustle, but one of the things that gets me up in the morning. It's really, really fun having an education brand alongside the production business, although there's plenty of times where I'm just like, I'm doing so many things. But alas, this is the world that I'm in, and I'm glad that you are a part of my world right now. But I would love for you to stay connected to the latest episodes, the latest events, the latest offerings, new courses that I'm launching, new mastermind, pocket coaching, all sorts of things like that. As you're looking for ways to grow and scale and make more money, keep more money, do all of those things, the best way to stay atop or stay abreast of the things is to be on the newsletter. studiosherpas.com/newsletter. Easiest place to do that. I send out a weekly email and I give homework and things for every week of the podcast, so that you don't have to take notes furiously. And I kind of give you my best insights and takeaways to help you. So sign up for that if you're not, studiosherpas.com/newsletter. And while I'm on the topic, I'm going to go, this is totally not on the notes, but I've also started a completely separate YouTube channel and a completely separate newsletter. And it's just ryancoral.com, RyanKoral.com. And that's been really, really fun because I've been talking a lot more about personal stuff with business. I mean, it's not just purely for personal enjoyment for me to be sharing these things, but it finally, it's like the freest form of social media that I've experienced, where I'm just like, oh, I don't care what stories I share here. I'm not trying to like win a client because of something I'm going to share or say or do. What I'm hoping to do with that newsletter is to build trust, to just say like, okay, this is like, if I'm going to let my hair down, these are the things that I care about right now. These are some of my favorite stories, some of my biggest learnings. I share a little bit about my marriage, or maybe a lot in the last 2 episodes. I share a little bit about my faith. I share more family stuff, and then I share the stuff that I'm learning in business and the ways that I'm failing, because I've got a couple of those failure stories. So anyway, if you're at all interested in that, ryancoral.com. My ultimate goal is just to get you to sign up to that newsletter and think that you know me, and then I'm going to just pull the rug out from underneath you and laugh in your face. That's a joke. I should put that in my personal newsletter. All right, but since you're here at Studio Sherpas, go get that newsletter. That's where all the things are at. Thank you for being here. Let's jump into this episode with Brian. He's a stud, and this is really, really fascinating and interesting. So enjoy the show. What's up, friend? Welcome to another episode of the show. Today with me is Brian Galke, who is a founder, keynote speaker, and the Decoding Detective. Brian, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Ryan.
Of course. So we got Brian with an I and Ryan with a Y today.
Yes. See, now if you're Brian with a Y, it's a bad thing. Ryan with an I or with a Y, you're good. Yeah.
I always love having that conversation with Brian's because, man, there's a lot of like animosity toward the opposite. If it's I'm not siding. I'm not taking sides. But just stop stealing my name is what I, for the ones with the Y. That's
I went to a coffee shop here, and one time they did BR and they drew an I in and then did AN. I'm like, well, that way they covered both bases, right? So it was Bri I and yeah.
That's funny. Okay, give us the insight or the inside scoop here. Decoding Detective. What the heck does that even mean? What do you do, man?
So I was trained by the world's expert in how to understand other people based on their facial features. And the crazy thing about it is it was actually taught in English universities for a very long time until Henry VIII said, I don't like the idea that beggars and vagabonds can use this against their fellow man. And he had it yanked out of academia. So it's been studied. The very first books on it were written by Aristotle. It's changed over time. And ironically, with AI and facial recognition software coming out, it's kind of coming back again. And it's learning how to understand people based on their resting facial features. And our faces are controlled by our brain. So when our parents said, stop making that face or it's going to get stuck that way, there's some truth to it. So there's 43 muscles in here. The mind creates movement. Movement creates muscle. And so the thoughts we have, we make different faces, and our faces actually change over time. And so what was taught to me, I'm an introvert by nature, but when I'm focused on you, guess what I'm not thinking about? Me. And it changed my life. So I went from an introvert on the help desk to a regional vice president of sales with a technology company. And it was all because when I was learning to think like, how does this person take in information? How does this person think? And then picking up, like you can't see my bookshelf, but I've got Never Split the Difference here, Amplify Your Influence, a statement analysis book, several body language books, you name it. I felt like I missed that day in school where they taught us how to just to understand people. And what introverts do? We buy books, we go to courses, we go to seminars to learn things. And so it just came naturally for me. And I started speaking in 2019. Of course, 2020 and 21 were a challenge for obvious reasons. And then it took off because people were hungry after being locked away from people to reconnect again. And we have a different side of life right now, and that is everybody's going to AI and automation, and so people feel more disconnected than ever. And this is a skill that if you learn to do it, you can look at the WEF and all these other organizations. They say, what's the top skill that everyone's going to need going forward?
Yeah.
It's soft skills, emotional intelligence skills, something that helps you understand people better. Because AI can do texting and email and everything else, but human connection is what we all crave.
That's good. What's your analysis so far on me? What's your read?
It's kind of fun. So we'll start with people with glasses. Their glasses kind of tell you what their eyebrows are. So your glasses are much like your eyebrows. It's straight, get straight to the point, facts, figures, data. And then your eyebrows are very low, close to your eye. So I know the longer I talk, the more I lose you because I need to get to the point quick versus people who have higher eyebrows. It's because going like this, well, let me think about it. Their eyebrows will raise over time. So for you, I know we had to dive right in, start talking about it. Yeah. And then we can do all kinds of fun things like, here's another one for you. You have a thinner upper lip here. And so what that is we say the phrase, keep a stiff upper lip when we want people to be kind of quiet or stoic. Well, so for you, I know let's talk business until you say something personal, then personal's game on. But if I ask you personal questions too soon, it's like this, in your face. For those who are listening, I just stuck my face really close to the camera to make it awkward. But yeah, so you learn all these things about people, and then it's like learning to speak their language. So I just got done, I was in Nashville training a bunch of realtors and speaking at a summit. And it was, how do you understand your buyers? So you stop losing the listings is because what we do is we were raised in the day and age of the golden rule, and that is treat people the way you want to be treated. But that's not the right way to do it. The platinum rule is treat people the way they want to be treated, and their faces, body language, and statements tell you how people want to be treated. And it just changes everything because we learn to get out of our own way instead of just pushing our agenda the entire time.
What's been one of the most interesting things that you've learned about yourself? Because I imagine as you're helping other people with their soft skills, you probably have worked a lot on refining. Is that even the right phrasing of it?
I would say understanding versus refining.
Okay.
Go back and look at pictures of yourself and how much your own face has changed over time. So in my presentations, I show a picture of me at 18 versus 38. Well, at 18, my ears stuck out farther away from my head. Now they're closer. Then, my eyebrows.
Wait, you think that is because of a way that like a soft skill, like you stop listening?
The muscles in your face. When you have those thoughts, you make different faces.
My
faces are nonstop biofeedback machines. So I'm gonna have to lean in closer again so people can see it. But like in my ear here, I have a crease. It's like a backslash that's in the ear.
Okay. Yeah.
If you talk to a doctor or nurse, they'll go, that's a heart line. Because they know people who have cardiovascular issues like high cholesterol, anything like that, have those lines. So our faces are biofeedback machines. If you think about when somebody gets sick, their cheeks sink in, right? Like those muscles that are here, it's because they're not moving, doing as much. So all these things on our face are literally telling people where are we at today. And that's why with your industry, people need to be coming and getting headshots redone almost once a quarter, if not at least semi-annually, like twice a year. Because our faces are constantly changing and we feel catfished when we go look up somebody on LinkedIn and then whoever shows up is like 85 years older than their picture and looks nothing like them, right?
Right.
Yeah. So but we talk about faces all the time. We say things like, keep a stiff upper lip, I'm all ears, take one on the chin, keep your nose to the grindstone, you name it. We talk about faces, and in those phrases, they tell you a feature about somebody. So what do you call somebody who talks all the time and won't shut up? You say they have a big mouth.
Blabbermouth?
Yeah.
Big mouth.
A big mouth. Like, hey, big mouth, what do you think's going on here? Well, we literally say that because people who talk a lot, their mouth gets larger. So if somebody's mouth is really small, then and I'm going to date myself on this one. If you've ever watched the show Clerks or the movie, there's Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah.
And like Jay talks throughout the whole show. And when Bob says something, it's very stoic, like, oh, I should listen to this. Well, people who have a small mouth don't talk that often. So when they get out of their comfort zone to say something, you need to be paying attention because they've thought about it. They're not just talking to hear their own voice.
Gosh.
Oh, I know. Trust me.
So weird.
After you leave this podcast, you will never be the same in the way you're going to look at people. And there's different ways to learn it. But I love it because even the event I spoke out in Nashville, we just talked about eyebrow height, eyebrow shape, and eye angles. Those three things alone are dangerous things, like in a good way. But what it also does is eye contact is a lost art. And not even just in person on Zoom. What happens is people don't have a setup like I have where I'm looking at you past my camera, Most people are
Right.
like, how's he reacting? And so they end up
Yeah.
looking
Yeah.
like this on the Zoom calls
Right.
versus giving eye contact. And so we get used to not having eye contact. And it's kind of crazy. There's a study that was done December 2023 by intelligent.com. And they asked 800 employers, what's the hardest part about hiring kids out of high school and college for jobs? 53% of them couldn't make eye contact for the job interview.
Yeah.
21% refused to turn on their camera for a virtual interview.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. What?
Yeah. So you can look it up, intelligent.com, December 2023. Check it out. But yes, it's because kids have grown up with these devices, right? I'm holding up a smartphone for those of you who are listening.
Yeah.
And these devices give the illusion of perfection. Meaning, like, I'm 51. When I took a picture, we had to send it off to Eckerd's or, Fox Photo. We got it back in a week or 2 weeks. It looked like crap. I had red eyes.
Yeah.
My 8-year-old, she'll be like, take a picture. And she'll go, let me see it. Nope, delete it. I want a new one.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Same thing. Like, she can craft the perfect text message. She gets to think
Right.
about what she wants to say or do before she has to take any action. And the way I grew up, everything was just live. And,
Yeah.
I was born before caller ID was there. You just had to pick up the phone and said hello. You took a wild gamble. When everything I needed in life, I had to talk to someone to get it because there was no,
Right.
phone system. Everything required you conversing with other people. But that's not the day and age that kids are growing up with. They're growing up with tablets. They're growing up with smartphones. They can order dinner, dates, and drivers without having to talk to a single person.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy,
so
right?
Weird. We were just talking about, something that our kids don't get to experience. It's, the phone would ring. Yeah, you'd pick it up. Hey, Coral residence. Is your dad there? Okay, what do you say when somebody says, is your dad? He can't come to the phone right now.
Exactly.
Can I take a message? So we had to learn how to take messages. We had to learn how to have good enough handwriting so your dad didn't yell at you for writing an undescribed or unscribed whatever, something that couldn't be read.
Yes.
And you had to have awkward conversations with people you didn't know. And then you also, if you wanted to call your friend or your girlfriend, you would have to maybe talk to the dad would answer the phone. It's is Melissa there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Who's this? This is Ryan. Oh, and then the dads that like to have fun, and then the dads that didn't want boys calling. It's so you had to be in all of these, have all these conversations.
Yes.
And that helped us, I think, in a lot of ways. And in our kids today, they're not answering somebody else's phone, right? There's no, so when somebody rings the doorbell, the kids are all like, who's going to get the door? Dad?
Let me check ring and see if we want to answer the door.
Hey, quick thing. If you've ever felt like you're leaving money on the table with your pricing, I built a free quiz that will show you exactly where. I'm super excited about this. It's called the Pricing Power Assessment. It takes 3 minutes. You're going to answer a few questions about how you are currently pricing your projects, and it will tell you if you're a survival pricer, an uncertain estimator, or a strategic pricer. And more importantly, it's going to show you how much money you're leaving on the table per project. This could be $1,000. It could be $4,000. Either way, you'll know, and you'll get some very actionable steps and resources to actually fix it and be more profitable. Go to studiosherpas.com/quiz and take it right now. It's free. It'll take you 3 minutes and you will be glad that you did. Okay, let's get back into the episode.
Automation and technology is fantastic, but what we're losing is we'll talk to a computer, but not to a person. So I'm not going to say the S word or the A word because I don't want any devices to go off, but we talk more to technology than we do to people on a regular basis. Now, that's with people wanting to work from home. We've been through an interesting last few years. I mean, 2020, 2021, we were in isolation. Then in 22, 23, people started going back to work, and it was 2024 was the Great Resignation. That was a lot of people said, I don't want to go back to an office 5 days a week. And so people quit across the board. In 2025 and still going into 2026, what we're seeing is what's called the Great Unbossing. And that is the old safest job there ever was, mid-level managers are getting whacked everywhere because they're keeping the C-suite up here and the worker bees down here, and they're trying to use automation because the two don't speak the same language. And it's causing issues like you would not believe. So I'm a huge fan of AI. Like when I speak, I keep on Meta glasses so I can film the audience while I'm being filmed. I use Plod to record the conversation so I can listen to it again. I use Chat GPT to help me. Like, I write out my post and I say, make it sound better, add in a few emojis.
Yeah.
AI should be used, but it's the people skills is what will be in the most in demand and will either keep you employed or keep your business afloat going forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Super important. I mean, I 100% agree. Thinking about all of my kids and the way that the job market is going to be, uh, you're still gonna have to interview for jobs, and the people that are gonna get hired are the people that have the best people skills, right?
Yes.
Like, you can have in some cases. I mean, in other cases, it's like no. If you're the best with your hands for for doctor stuff or
Yes.
whatever, like but for the majority of jobs where you're going to be interacting with people or you're going to have a boss, or like, you want to work with people that you trust and people that you like being around and people that are respectful and people that look you in the eye when they're talking. So, like, those are super duper important skills that you have to have. I'd love to transition the conversation because I know that part of the work that you're doing, it's like, okay, so how does this help me? As I run a video production business, and
Sure.
I'm on discovery calls a lot with clients, and a lot of them today, I mean, it used to be like they would come to our studio or I would meet them at Starbucks.
Yeah.
Now it's like we're hopping on a Zoom call and we're doing this thing here. But what would you say? What would you say is like one of the most helpful tools or skills in what you teach to help somebody like me that is interviewing a client, or they're interviewing me, to figure out,
Sure.
how do I get them to hire us, or is this somebody that I should stay away from? Like, what are your initial thoughts
The
there?
good news, there's not very many really bad facial features. There's like combinations, and what may be me I don't want, you may want those features. So that's the good news is
Mm,
a lot of people, when they hear decoding faces, reading faces, anything like that, some people go immediately go, oh, well, that's racist or it's this or that. It's like, no, everybody's face is like a fingerprint. Just because you're
yeah.
born in one part of the world or you're born a man or a woman or whatever, doesn't say this always has to be this way. Every race has larger lips and smaller lips. Everybody has, different facial features. And if you're ever worried about something, you can skip it and move to one of the other 150 features and or combinations on someone's face. That's the good news. What the biggest thing, especially for your industry, smiling. Smiling has so many positive benefits. It makes you seem
Yeah.
more confident, more attractive, more intelligent. And when you smile, it releases dopamine into your body. And when you smile, because of mirror neurons, I want to smile. And I
Yeah.
had to learn that
Yeah.
because I'm 6'2", I'm 220 pounds. I'm not a small dude. Well, I'd get up on stage and I didn't realize how much I was frowning or squinting, and that comes across wrong.
Mm,
So, like, I had to learn to
yeah.
smile more. And a very
Yeah.
interesting book, and this one right here called The Like Switch. It was written by former FBI behavioral analysis units. What they taught people is when you walk into a new room, you raise your eyebrows, tilt your head, and smile. And why you do that is raising your eyebrows are we in recognition? Hey, good to see you. Or are you a foe? What am I scanning the room for?
Mm,
The reason you tilt your head is because we're animals to a degree, right? And that is we're exposing our jugular here, our carotid artery, and basically saying like, I don't feel threatened, so I'm leaving this showing in the room. So they taught him to walk into a room, raise their eyebrows, and smile. So those three combinations, if you can learn that, you automatically put people at ease when you walk in the door. That's one part. But when you really can research people ahead of time and you look at what does their face tell me about them, then you're personalizing it for the person instead of just pitching your product or service. We were
mm,
raised in this old, ridiculous, I was in corporate America for 21 and a half years. And the first like 5 to 10 slides was about how we were the best company on earth. People don't want that anymore. People want to
right.
know, how are you going to help me? Don't come in and show all your trophies and awards. Like, yes, it's good to know that you're a stable company or
Right.
you've been
Right.
in business for a while. But the longer you talk about yourself, the more people disengage. Because what
Mm,
people are looking for is, if we're going to work together, work with me. Let's have a
yeah.
conversation, not a presentation. And that's where it really starts to change things. Because when you're preparing things, and I'll give you a very, very simple example, is when I was in corporate America, we had to answer these government documents called an RFP, or a request for proposal, and they were hundreds of pages thick. Well, you
Oh
could
my
tell
gosh.
whoever the RFP writer was, and that is the person who responds for you, they may be auditory, visual, or hands-on kinesthetic learners. Well, you would see
Mm,
that throughout the government document and our response. I would go in and then make little changes and add in visual ones and auditory words also, because you don't know who's going to read it. And so you want to
Right,
make
right,
sure you're
right.
talking to all three types of people, not just the person who's like you. So
My
when you're putting things together,
goodness.
use sound words like, oh, well, what I hear
Yeah.
you saying. Use visual words. I see what you mean. I get the picture. And then use action words. Once we get, let's roll up our sleeves. Let's get moving on this project. If you put that into your proposals and your contracts and things, then you can prepare for the person who's in the room, but they're not always the decision maker. So if they have to forward it on to somebody else, you're speaking to everybody who reads that document.
Yeah, I hear that.
Hey, there you go.
I really feel like I'm understanding what you're saying.
Yeah, I get the picture.
That's
Yes. So, people go, Brian, it's manipulation. No, it's a sign of respect. It's like going to another country. When I was a younger traveler, I go somewhere and I'd think, well, they should speak English. And well, my answer if they didn't was, well, I'll just speak English louder. That doesn't work.
helpful.
Yeah. But when you learn, once I got smarter about it and I started going to different countries, learn basic phrases. Please, thank you, good morning, good afternoon, bill, bathroom. When you try to speak somebody else's language, they'll try to speak yours. If you defiantly demand that they speak your language, then it seemed like, well, you have to adapt to me.
Yeah.
No, how are we going to meet in the middle is what's important.
That's really good. I am curious on the carotid artery thing. Is that like, do you actually believe that? Like the animal instinct or whatever?
Oh, absolutely. You can pick up.
Really?
Well, yeah, there's so many things that we're not taught. Like, why is it if you get done, you win a race and you're the first person, we go, yes. Like, nobody ever said, oh, by the way, when you win things, you raise your arms up in celebration.
That's just what feels like what you should do.
Right. Well, it's because we feel like we're untouchable and we raise up. And what happens is all of our organs are exposed. So what happens when we feel threatened? You cover those, right? Or if somebody gets offended, because you're protecting something. When somebody walks into a room and they call them turtle people, when people don't feel comfortable with their carotid artery, their shoulders come up like this, right? And that way it's protected.
Yeah.
So for the people who are listening, because I know you said it's auditory also, I was raising my shoulders up towards my ears, which is what people do when they feel threatened, is they go into turtle mode and those shoulders come up. Nobody's taught us this, but it's built into our DNA because it was those skills that kept us alive. And on a not so funny note, but you can tell when somebody is intimidated by somebody because they try and make themselves smaller when a threat or a predator comes in the room. So that's how they actually will catch child abuse and things like that. So if they see like a parent who's abusive walks in, the kid tries to, like, if you've ever seen a dog in a major city, like when cars come by, what do? They try and sneak closer to the wall and like make themselves smaller. Well, kids will do the same thing. Because we instinctively know if a predator's coming, don't move, make yourself smaller. But if you're confident, then wide shoulders, you're just kind of hanging out back.
Right.
So nobody taught us those things. It's built into us. So yes, I believe the carotid artery thing 100%.
It's fascinating. When you're talking about, like cowering and like, kind of shoulders up. Do you know Tim Robinson, the comedian?
No, I don't think I do.
Oh man, he's got a show called The Detroiters, and then another show on Netflix called I Think You Should Leave.
Okay.
And there's one skit where he's a doctor and he like is talking to the wife, and he's like, "I'm sorry, your husband's fine. We did have to remove his neck, but he's gonna be," and he's got like a sucker. He's just kind of like eating the sucker like super casually. Anyway, the guy comes out and he doesn't have it. It's like, we had to remove his neck. Like, what are you talking about? It's ridiculous.
Right.
But that's why I started cracking up, because I thought of that great skit. So. Anyway, there's that. Super fascinating. Is there you have a client that you've worked with who has like maybe applied, a couple of these things and then has seen like this just unbelievable results by doing this stuff?
Sure. I'll give you
certainly
a fun one. And because I've gone back, some dealerships will bring me in multiple times a year to speak because selling cars is very difficult. So there's a certain Ken Grody Ford that I work with in California. Every time I come out and do training, the next month their numbers are up again because they're learning, instead of just thinking I need to sell it to make commission, they're figuring out how do I speak best to this person. And so you can always tell when I'm out there because the next month their numbers jump up again. And then they learn to practice with each other. And so dealerships are very easy. And the reason I bring them up is if you think about working in a dealership, you don't know who's coming in. There's internet leads, but a majority of their traffic is somebody just walking up. And so you have to learn to size someone up within seconds to make them feel comfortable because you're selling a commodity that there's another dealership right down the road.
Yeah.
So they have a very, very tough job. And, very rarely is somebody super excited to meet a car salesman. They're excited at the idea of getting a car, but not of that. And who has an even tougher job is the service advisors, because you just spent all this money in a car and you're already having problems, so you have to learn how to comfort people when they're irritated, aggravated, you name it. And that's what was really smart about this particular dealership is most people will bring me in to train a sales team, but who really needs the training is anybody who interacts with your customers face to face. So it could be, your customer service, your tech support, help desk. So they brought every single department that involves talking to a customer is who they brought in I was there for 3 days and I ran multiple workshops. They even invited their Ford corporate reps to come down, the ones who deal with all the dealerships. So they're probably the best case study because it's very, very difficult. I also speak at door-to-door con some years, and those are people who are knocking on doors. Not only do they have to get you to answer the door, but they have to get to your couch or your kitchen table. And so that was another one. They learned scripts, which they, how to ask questions the right way. They learned body language, like when you knock on somebody's door, you step back, you kind of angle away because you don't want to seem like a threat. Yeah. Because by nature, when we square up with people, why do we square up? We square up to fight. And so they learn like tilt back a little bit, but then they also had to learn what happens when somebody answers the doors. They answer like this, or yes, and you can only see their face, so body language doesn't help.
I can see that carotid artery.
Exactly. So you have to learn like what does their face tell you about how to talk to them within 7 seconds? Because if not, you're getting the door slammed in your face, you're getting a gun pulled, or they're going to threaten to call the cops.
Yeah.
So those are my top two, because those are high pressure sales that they don't have time to prepare. Now, I have other corporate clients that if they know a big deal's going on, we teach them how to go look up people on LinkedIn and start preparing the presentation. Like, I can show you the PowerPoint because I literally just spoke about this in Nashville. So I'll show you a picture of the host. And I went and looked him up on LinkedIn before I ever met him. And the whole reason I did that is because I wanted to know, how do I talk to Brock? So give me 1 second. Let me pop this up here.
As you're listening to the show, if you've never watched the YouTube videos, like now is the time to.
Yes.
Oh, there's a YouTube version of this? Yes.
There you go. So this is Brock Steven, and I just spoke at his event in Nashville. But what I did is I went to the LinkedIn profile here that you see, and each one of these features, and so I'll read them off for the people who are listening. So he has what's known as Einstein lines. So that's deep, intense study. Those are the lines across his forehead. So I know he's not a bullet points person. He likes to get a lot of information. So what I did is when I sent him my bio, I sent him the bigger bio and a list of places I spoke at. Then he has what's called chameleon eyebrows because you can't really see the shape of them. That helps him when he's meeting new people. People think, oh, he's just like me. Right here where he's got no upper eyelid, that means he's fine doing things by himself. So I don't have to use we language when you talk to him. You just use regular language. Nostril creases here is he has a hard time delegating things out to other people. This guy just ran a 100-person conference, and he was the one messaging people in the group me chat and all these things, posting on social media. Like, and he's got 6 assistants that do little things, but he's still doing the majority of it. Like we talked about with you earlier, flatter upper lip people. That's why we say keep a stiff upper lip, because we know don't get personal too fast. Now, the opposite of that is if somebody has a fuller lip, and you keep it just talking business, they're going to get offended because it'll feel too transactional. And then last but not least, he's got a strong chin here. Well, when we say, take one on the chin, the size of somebody's chin is how hard of a hit can they take. So a large chin can handle a lot. A small chin, criticism sounds like shouting. So we learn all these things about people. And since we've got this up, I'm going to show you a picture about what you asked about earlier. Where do you start? I start with my own face. And that's where most people who learn this first do. So look at how much more my ears used to stick out when I was a kid away from my head versus now. And then this is what I was telling you, that heart line that's here. But here's the one that'll blow your mind. See how my eyebrows used to be straight? Look at them now. They're angled. So they changed over time. And look at how my eyes used to angle down quite a bit like this. And then they evened up over time. And that's just one example.
Wild.
And what it's based on is there's 43 muscles in the face. And like I said, the mind creates movement. Movement creates muscle. So our faces are constantly changing. I know, it's fun, right? I'll show you one last one. We'll go back to it.
Crazy.
So you can go to anybody's face like this, and every one of those arrows tells you how to talk to the person. So foreheads, how do people think and take in information? Eyebrows, how do they want it delivered? If they have what's here called a brow ridge, so for those that are listening, it's above the eye, it's that little area there. That's a very structured, they're like SOPs, checklists. Jaw size tells you how tenacious somebody is, like how decisive. Like once they make up their mind, do they latch their teeth shut and never unlatch?
Yeah.
You know, so all these things are just how to understand people. And like I said, we talk about it all the time. So we say, keep a stiff upper lip, take one on the chin. I'm all ears. We talk about faces all the freaking time.
So as a filmmaker, video production business owner, like where do we start? What do you think is most helpful?
I think so let's use like headshots as an example. Well, there's two sides of everyone's face. There's a personal side, which is their left. There's a professional side, which is the right. An easy way for everybody to remember it is to say, if I asked you, hey, are you married? It's a personal question. This is always the personal side of somebody's face. This is the professional side. So it all depends on what are they taking headshots for. If it's a family one, well, then you want to show more of their personal side. But if it's a business one, then you want to show their professional side when you're doing it. And an easy way to also remember it is your heart is on where your personal side is. So our heart's over here. That's why, like if anybody goes to pick up a baby, and I realize this is a book, but when people go pick up a baby, they instinctively put the baby's head by their heart. Like nobody taught us, well, this is the right or wrong way to pick up a kid. We naturally, as like a species, pick up and put them here. Even if we're right or left-handed, it doesn't matter.
Whoa, this is weird.
I know. Trust me, I can go down some rabbit holes with you. Like a really good book to, if you want to listen to what people say, is a book called The Mind Reader, and it's by David Lieberman. And what he tells you is people will always tell you what they're thinking, how to talk to them and everything if you really look to listen. So I was seeing a girl one time and she's like, oh, I just want to let you know I broke it off with him or I ended it with him. I go, well, you told me you guys never did anything. She's like, oh, I wasn't going to tell you, but he ended up kissing me one day. I'm like, see, but so what she said was, oh, I ended it with him. I'm like, well, you don't end something that never started. So if you really listen to people's words, they will tell you everything.
Yeah.
You just got to learn to listen. So let's see, in your business also, let's take films. Constantly, movies, television, things have been telling us how to treat a certain person. So I'm going to show you one more. I know we weren't going to talk slides, but I want you to see one just because of the business you're in that you probably don't even realize is going on all the time. Sometimes, like people who do great jobs, like with what you're doing, those people who are nervous meeting people. So the cool thing is, I already mentioned before, we're already looking at eyebrows by default when somebody comes in. So you can get credit for making eye contact by just staring at somebody's eyebrows when you're looking at them. So if you're nervous, like if you're an introvert like me, I look at their eyebrows first before I make direct eye contact. But people still give me credit for doing eye contact the whole time. But then you can start looking at people and go, okay, well, what shape are their eyebrows? Well, here's what's really crazy. Like even Legos tells us there's 3 basic shapes of people's eyebrows. So you've got straight eyebrows, angled eyebrows, rounded eyebrows. So with straight eyebrows, it gets straight to the point. Facts, figures, data. What did they do to the character that plays Spock? They gave him straight eyebrows.
Yeah.
So sci-fi, comedy, you name it, movies and television have been reinforcing these things without us realizing it all the time.
It just reminds me of, I've been following, I can't remember his full name, Oz.
Oh, yeah, Oz Perlman. I just listened to his book on Audible, and somebody bought me his book for Christmas, so I can reread the physical copy too.
Just, it is hilarious watching the people's reaction when he's doing his thing. It's like, just minds are blown. But it's very similar concept, right? Like reading people, and
yes,
at least that's what he says. I'm like, I think he's got some other powers.
I'll tell you, and another guy that you need to follow is John Stetson. Hold on, I'm going to say his name wrong. I don't want to do that. He's the guy that the original show, The Mentalist, was based on. So,
oh wow, okay.
Let me see, John Stetson. Yeah, Stetson. He was the advisor for the television show The Mentalist, and he was at a speaking event I was at a month ago, and he for 3 hours did crazy things. And I've read books on mentalism, and I was like trying to catch him, and I couldn't pick up on the things he did. It was nuts on how they do it.
That was wild.
Darren, Derren Brown, he's from the UK. He breaks down how a lot of mental tricks are done.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fascinated by that. I do, you know, I hear how people will say, well, that's manipulation. I love how you've repositioned that to say like this is how I can serve and help the best. Like when you know what a person needs to hear. It's like, you know, it's like in my marriage, knowing what my wife's couple of top love languages are, that serves our marriage really, really well. Well, not just me knowing them, but like when I actually am like
Use
being
it, right?
intentional
Knowledge is
about,
one
you know,
thing.
yeah.
Awareness is an exposure or one thing. Putting it into practice is where it becomes valuable.
Yeah, yeah, super good. Well, this is really just a very interesting conversation. If people want to go deeper, if they want to learn more,
Yeah.
What's a good next step for them, Brian?
So I thought I was a genius when I bought Subtle Skills until I realized nobody can spell subtle. So the easiest way,
That's funny.
right?
That's good.
The easiest way for people to find more information is just go to getthecheatsheet.com. And what it'll do is they can go and literally get what do eyebrow height mean? What do eyebrow shape? It's the basics to get people going is just getthecheatsheet.com.
Love that. I also thought when I saw your URL, I was like, dude, subtleskills.com, that's great. But yeah, I can see where that might not be as helpful.
I had to buy so many different misspellings, SUDTLE, you know, nobody knows how to spell it. It's great when you can read it, but so I bought like gettheflashcards.com. I've got get the cheat sheet.
Right, yeah.
I've got decode the face. That's another one that I'm just like, I buy URLs every once in a while, like when I have these epiphanies and I just all redirect them to Subtle Skills.
That's good. Brian, this is so fun. I really appreciate you bringing on, or bringing your gift and your just the skill set. It's neat.
Yeah.
Appreciate you doing that. How do you want to leave us today?
I think now here's the most important thing for anybody who's listening. People feel more isolated and alone than they have in all time because they're looking at other people's social media, they're seeing the highlight reel and thinking their daily life doesn't matter. Go out and use these skills because when people feel seen and heard, they feel changed. So going and practicing, just connecting with other people can change a life, but it can also save a life from somebody who just doesn't feel like that anybody sees them anymore. That's why it's important to learn these skills and go out and practice it. And especially if you have kids like you and I do, we've got to teach this to future generations because they're drifting farther and farther apart. You know, we go to restaurants and I'm not anti-tablet, but you see people walk in, put their kid down, put headphones on, a tablet, and then they have conversation and the kid doesn't interact with anybody. You know, my daughter has a tablet and she has plenty of tablet time, but she has to have conversation time too. And that's vitally important for her future.
Love that. Brian, so good. I appreciate you, my friend. Really, really grateful that we got this time together.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks so much for tuning into this episode of the Grow Your Video Business podcast. If you got something out of today's conversation, do me a favor, share it with a friend or post it on your socials. Tag me at Ryan Coral or at Grow Your Video Business. I'd love to know what resonated with you. If you've got a question or takeaway, drop a comment wherever you're listening or watching this. You can also shoot me a message. I read every single one. And hey, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. We've got more stories, strategies, and behind the scenes insights coming your way to help you build a business that you love. Keep creating, keep sharing your story, and keep showing up. I'm cheering you on. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you next time.